We're about to enter a really ugly phase because we're going to be in a war at three fronts. The first front I want to talk about is Iran. And a lot of analysts online and whatever, they're not even thinking about the Iran war. When it pops off with Iran, okay, if you don't know what's going on there, then you need to do some research, you should do some fact checking. But when it pops off in Iran with America or Israel, you bet there's going to be massive shortages of fuel in America. And I'm saying this, and this is my opinion, my prediction, that if it pops off and we have a war at three fronts, most people in America are going to be riding bicycles or walking because there's not going to be any fuel out there. Now, it sounds crazy because we're America, but watch. If this thing pops off, Iran at one front is not going to allow OPEC oil area and so good that 30 to 40% of the world's oil will not come out. There's going to be a hard impact on the global and American economy. Then you have the front with Russia. Okay, we've seen the war there, and you're talking about a opponent that has nuclear arms, and they're willing to use it. Right, they're willing to use it, and this is not Kuwait. This is not Iraq. This is not some little country that we can bully. If you look in the past 10, 20 years, America's only fought, you know, and bullied smaller countries. It's never fought someone his own size. And Russia is it, ladies and gentlemen. Russia is it. And this is why the president of America came out and says Armageddon is around the corner. And that's something that most people are not paying attention. The world leaders around the world are pushing us, all of humanity, into a nuclear winter. I don't know what is wrong with these leaders. Okay, what are they wanting to do? Because the end game is going to be chessmate. That's it. And chessmate means a nuclear holocaust from both sides. So I don't understand why Big Brother in America and other countries are pushing NATO to the border of Russia. They didn't want Russia to come to the borders of America. Remember, a couple of years ago, a couple of decades ago, the Cuban crisis, they didn't want that. So why would they think that Russians will be okay with that? I don't understand why our big brother is funding billions and billions of dollars to the Ukrainians for this war to continue. Don't they realize what the end game is? It's chessmate. It means a nuclear fallout. Why are they doing this? Why is our big brother financing sending weapons of mass destruction to this country for all of us to die, right? Because if America was not fueling and NATO was not fueling Ukraine, the war would be over in Ukraine in just a couple of days, okay? The only reason they're able to keep fighting is because we're giving billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to them. We're giving them all kinds of weapons and all kinds of supplies, okay? AKA a proxy war. Well, the end result of this, if this doesn't stop, there's going to be three-front war. We're going to have a war with Iran. We're going to be in war with the Russians. And end of the day, what that outcome is a checkmate for the humanity, which means nuclear winter. That's it. If the Americans are telling the truth, if the American news is telling the truth that Russia is retreating, which I don't believe the American news or the Western news, then what that means is that Russia will have no other choice but to use their nukes. But I don't think that is the truth because I know that Russia is a very powerful country and they're not using all their military. They're actually fighting with their hands tied behind their backs. Because if Russia did what America did, the shock and awe in Iraq, then they would have came in the first few days and took out the whole grid of Ukraine. They would have took out the whole water supply, the electricity, the main infrastructure, just like America did in Iraq. But they didn't do that. They were fighting with their hands behind their backs. They brought a small amount of military to Ukraine. They could have brought 300,000. They had millions of soldiers, okay? And they didn't. They're fighting with their hands behind their back. Just recently, just today is the first time they hit civilian infrastructure like the electricity, like the water. They could have done that day one. This is exactly the game plan America does in Iraq. This is the same game plan they've done in many other countries, okay? Why didn't the Russians do that? Well, because they were fighting with their hands behind their back, okay? So I believe that Russia's only using 10% of the military might, but 90% is holding back to see what's going to happen next. So, in a situation where we have one front, Iran, which definitely is going to limit shortage of fuel in America and around the world, and the other hand, we have Russia, the mass producer of commodities. You're talking about fertilizers to grow food. You're talking about all kinds of stuff, precious metals, all kinds of stuff. Well, we're in war with them as well in a proxy war, which eventually is going to lead into a checkmate, which is the end of humanity. Then we have the other side front, which is the Chinese. They have so many people there, guys. So many people. You've seen the Chinese with the bug 19. In days, they were able to build hospitals. In days, they were able to build roads. Or in days, I mean, these guys work like ants. They are committed and dedicated, and they move as a one unit. So we're now going to be facing China, Iran, and Russia. And guys, you know, with the petrodollar situation going away, with Russia providing the weapons that the Saudis need, the petrodollar is dying. And when the petrodollar dies, when the world reserve currency dies, then America is going to be in the biggest poverty ever because we don't produce shit. We're a consumer nation. We extract other countries' resources and we consume it. We are not producers. We're not exporters. We're importers. We consume everything, right? And when all this stuff doesn't come in, what are we going to do for our economy? We don't produce computers here. We don't produce chairs here. We don't produce cars here. Guys, everything else is produced somewhere else. Maybe it's assembled in America, some companies, but majority of stuff is in Taiwan, in China, in India, in Pakistan, in all these poor countries. And I've done videos why these countries are poor because we steal their natural resources with our fake dollars. That's it. That's why we're able to export inflation to all these other countries. And if we think we have it bad here, well, you don't know what's going on in Turkey with they have over 100% inflation. Okay, so we're in a tough situation. The big brothers of NATO, the big brothers of the Western countries are freaking crazy and they're pushing us into Armageddon like the Bible says. And I don't understand why everyone's just putting their hand in the sand. It's like the Titanic is sinking and everyone's drinking booze and dancing and not trying to focus on escaping the ocean, escaping the sinking Titanic. You have people watching movie stars, the football games, this and that, but no one's giving a rat's ass about the annihilation of humankind because of our big brother's policy. Okay, I believe that this war is because of America and NATO's fault. They kept pushing and pushing. Russia had told us for over a decade that they don't want this. We don't want nukes at their borders, just like America didn't want nukes at Cuba, right? And we should be understanding. Okay, we should not try to force our belief systems and our philosophies on every other country. If people they want to be Muslims or they want to be Hindus or they want to be Buddhists, let them be. It's not our position to tell them what they should do. That's just my opinion. I believe that everyone has the right to do whatever they want to do. Just because I eat bread with my right hand, I shouldn't force you to eat bread with your right hand too. If you want to eat bread with your foot, go ahead. I don't care. If you want to eat bread with the left hand, I don't care. You want to believe in Jesus, you want to believe in Baha'u'llah, you want to believe in Muhammad, that's great. Okay, I don't care. Okay. But peace and prosperity is what I care about. And the way our big brothers are going, they're just pushing for human annihilation, the Armageddon, just like the Bible says. And it's crazy to me how our world leaders are being so idiotic because it's not their kids that are going to die, it's your brothers, your sisters, my friends that are going to go die. They have their own bunkers. So I don't understand why Big Brother of America, Big Brother of NATO, keeps pushing for a checkmate. And the checkmate is nuclear annihilation of humankind. End the story. End the story, dude. That's what it is. Now everyone's playing and drinking and having fun. They're not really realizing what's happening. But this is what's happening. If something doesn't happen soon, the world as we know it is going to be extinct. America as we know it is not going to be the same because things are changing. The world, as soon as the world petrodollar dies, we are going to suffer like you've never seen before. This is why America is so rich because we're able to extract all the natural resources from all these other countries by sending them fake dollars that we print from the printing press that's not backed by anything. Okay. And the problem is we are in a privileged situation because we have the world reserve currency. We are rich because we're able to suck all the natural resources from all the other countries by giving them fake dollars. But instead of being appreciative of this thing, instead of being a world leader through humility and being nice, we're the world dictator. We are the world's police. We tell everyone what to do, how do they do it. If they don't like the way we do it, then they got to hit the highway, and we're going to bomb, and we're going to sanction them, and we're going to weaponize the dollar. And this is a story of America, unfortunately, these days, is that we're the world police. We're the world hitman. Not only are we the economic hitman, where we take out the governments of other countries, we sanction the country. Look what's going on in Venezuela. Look what's going on with Iran. Look at all these other countries being sanctioned, right? The people are suffering, but we don't give a rat's ass because we're profiting from it. But I'm telling you, if this thing doesn't pop off, if this thing doesn't stop, America's not going to be where we are. You're not going to live the luxury life you do today. I promise you, because we're not producing stuff. Everyone else is producing our stuff, and they're not going to send that shit to us anymore because the way we act. Okay, sanctions, constant war, constant coups in other countries. I mean, you can just see John Bolton, right, the guy that set up the coup in Iran and Venezuela and all these other countries, coming on TV admitting that he sets up coup, admitting that they throw over governments. Okay, and so what you have is a shady big brother with his own interest only, and they don't give a rat's about you or me or any other country. They just want their own interest and their own interest only. And they're willing to sacrifice your friends, your son, your daughter to get that interest, no matter what, no matter if there's going to be an Armageddon. And that's pretty freaking crazy. So, my message to the world leaders are, dude, let's have some peace, man. Let's respect each other. Okay, let's not just put our own interests first. Let's put everyone's interests first. We're on this boat called Earth. Let's take care of it. Let's work together because we are best when we work together. This is why America is great. So great because we have so many different cultures in America all working together, and that's what made America great. Now our big brothers have used this power to sanction and become a world police, which none of us want. None of us want that because it's caused so much war. Look how many people we killed in Iraq. Millions of people, millions of kids, dude, because they lied to us. They've been lying since the beginning. That's what big brothers do in all worlds. They lie to control the people. Look at Ukraine. The big brother there knew that the war was going on. It's about to pop off, but they lied to their population. They told them there's nothing to panic about. Okay, boom, it hit. Now they're drafting men, women, everyone. Go fight. Okay, this is how Big Brother is. They don't give a rat's ass about you or me. They just care about their own survival. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Peace.